Hello and welcome to this episode of Addicted to Business. Today we are joined by Beks Houston, who is a marketing specialist and expert based in Norwich. Thank you for joining us, Beks.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Amazing. And to my left over there, as I will introduce him, as Nathan Lomax, the legend that is.
Hello, everyone.
Who owns a digital transformation agency in Norwich called Quickfire Digital.
Very good from you.
Thank you, Nathan, for joining us.
Beks, thank you for joining us. Beks and I have been friends for some time now, and actually her journey over the last few years at Smash has been, well, nothing short of remarkable, right? It's been incredible. Like, you must take time and pat yourself on the back occasionally to be like, Christ, I've come a long way.
And I have. It's only been a year and a half, and we've got some amazing clients. It's gone really well.
You've done really well. And I think, as an outsider looking in, one of the real reasons, I think there's a few. One is that you've identified and become a specialist, not just a generalist. You're not trying to do everything for everybody. You've shown what you can do. You've held your hands up to stuff you can't do, and you've said, okay, I will help you here, and I will recommend you to people that I can't help you with, which I think has really stood you in good stead. The other has been how honest and transparent you always are. So it's just people buy into Beks and buy into you because you're very honest. You lay it all on the table. And hopefully in the next 45 minutes, that's what we're going to do for our listeners and watchers, right? We're going to give them 45 minutes of value around SEO tips and tricks that they can implement from today. Sound okay?
Perfect.
So there's some great SEO agencies. So there's some great SEO agencies out there, and we're talking about that in the green room just off air. I mean, the green room is like
the green
just
room.
a spare room. We'll call it the green room. So
we're series 2 now.
Yeah, we've hit the big time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we talked about some great agencies around. Right, you got your Furthers, your Fountains, your Candas, some brilliant companies there. But actually, you've got a real niche. You've got a real niche in terms of those SMEs that potentially haven't got thousands and thousands and thousands to spend on SEO. Yes, they're going to have some budget, but at the same time, it's not ridiculous. But there's a lot of businesses you can help. So let's go to the start. Let's pretend that we're talking to a new SEO, a new client that's looking for SEO. Where do we start?
Okay, well, that's easy. We need to understand exactly what they want the website to achieve.
Yep.
What kind of visitors do they want? So it's almost like you've got to actually produce a marketing plan. Now, it doesn't need to be War and Peace, but we do need to understand actually what the website should do. So just use an example. If you were, a hotel in King's Lynn, you're going to be competing against the big boys, the online travel agents, but there might be some niche areas within the things that people are searching for that actually you can gain some of that search traffic. So maybe you're a dog-friendly hotel, so we can look at those key phrases and actually gain you some traffic. So once we understand what they want to achieve, probably the first step, and actually these can be done by the client themselves. If you don't have a very high budget, a lot of the tips I'm going to give today are things that can be carried out by the client themselves.
Perfect.
So you need to start with keyword research. There are a few tools on the market that can allow this. The tool that we use most of the time is the Google Keyword Planner, which is part of the Google Ads platform. It's completely free to sign up for one of those. You'll
hold that thought. You just go to Google Keyword Planner in Google. Pretend that we don't know. So we go to Google Keyword Planner. We type that phrase into Google. You click on probably the first result. It's through the Google AdWords platform, is it? Or is it, It
is. So the way it works is you'll put one seed word in. So, for example, you might put dog-friendly hotel in King's Lynn.
Perfect.
And then Google will produce you a long list of alternatives as well. So you can use the long list to actually create alternatives, which you can then put in your text as well to help you generate the content on the page. But it also show you how many people. So if you're doing a search for dog-friendly hotel in King's Lynn, chances are you're not in King's Lynn, so we'd probably keep that to the whole of UK.
Yep.
You can see how many people in the UK are looking for that term each month, and you can see how competitive those terms are. So if you know that if you've got a lot of competition, a lot of hotels in King's Lynn who are also doing the same thing, you might go for some of the terms that are slightly less competitive.
Okay, almost the needle in the haystack scenario of, high search volume, low competition.
Yes.
Perfect, that's the one we'll bid for.
And that's the model for small businesses, though,
yes.
right?
Yeah, I'd definitely do that. If you've got the time and the ability to invest more money, then you probably could go for some of the more highly competitive key phrases by doing a lot of more SEO work. But for smaller businesses, try and go for something that's not as competitive because it's going to be a lot easier to achieve. Once you've got the key phrases, and you might have, 20, 30 key phrases that you'd like to go for, take a look at the pages you've already got on your website. Allocate the key phrases to each of those pages.
How many per page?
One per page. One main key phrase per page. Okay. You can have, so for example, if it's dog-friendly hotel, King's Lynn, then the other kind of lesser key phrases that you can have on that same page could be hotel that welcomes dogs. Yeah. So you wouldn't have another page for that key phrase, but you'd have those as secondary key phrases within the text. So your main key phrase. Is that what they call
like semantic keywords?
Yes. Yeah.
God, look at me.
Which is basically alternative ways of saying the same phrase.
Brilliant.
Okay, so once you've got each page on your website, you've allocated a key phrase which is appropriate to the content on that page. Pages like you contact us and you're about us don't necessarily need to have a key phrase. They don't need to be found in search. So I'll probably really concentrate on your service pages and the pages that you want to be found for. Right, so that will probably leave you a few key phrases.
Is your pen run out yet?
Okay.
That might leave you a long list of key phrases that you haven't allocated to your website. Keep those to one side because actually you can use those as for content. So it's things like blogs or news pieces or to create more service pages on your website. All right. So once you've allocated a key phrase to a certain page, and you know you want to be found for it in search, the next thing to do is to put those key phrases in certain places within the website. These certain places act as a kind of a signpost to Google and other search engines as to the purpose and the topic on those pages. Right. So staying with our dog-friendly hotel example, you'll have something called your page title or your meta title or whatever your website backend is calling it. So you need to make sure that you get your dog-friendly hotel within that. You'll also probably want to put it within...
Just hold that thought.
Go.
So, this is amazing. Right, so let's say if it's a WordPress site, typically you'd use a Yoast SEO or all-in-one SEO or something like that, right? That's a couple of good SEO tools out there. So, in the focus keyword, and there's a premium version or a basic version, but you can do this all within the basic version, right? You put in the focus keyword, dog-friendly hotel.
Yes.
Okay, you then put it in, you say the meta title.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, the next place that you need to put it is within your meta description. So your meta description is the paragraph of text that you skim read on search engine results pages. You skim read it before you decide which listing to click on. So it's important to have that within the meta title, meta description, because it will be made bold by Google and search engines. So people typing in dog-friendly hotel can immediately see, dog-friendly hotel is within the description. They'll increase the chance of the click-through.
Do they cross it out, the ones that aren't?
No, the bits crossed out are the words that are missing.
Okay, right.
So I guess if you just think of Google as a kind of robot, which I guess it is, it's just looking for relevance, right? So, okay, tick in the box, you've got it in the meta title. Tick in the box, you've chosen it as your focus keyword. Tick in the box, you've got it as your meta description. Oh, great, 3 out of 3 compared to 2 out of 3. You, in theory, should rank better.
You should. There are some more areas as well.
It can't be as easy as that, right?
No.
Easy, done.
Okay,
let's go
so on most web pages, the main title of your page will be structured as an H1. Now, H is just a heading. It's just kind of the way that your headings are formatted, and they go all the way from H1 all the way down to H6. There should only ever be one H1 on the page, and your H1 should include your key phrase, so dog-friendly hotel.
Okay, another tick in the box. You've got meta title, meta description, focus keyword, and H1, all the keyword. You're flying.
Yes.
Now what?
Another one.
Right.
Google will also look to see if you've got that key phrase within the first 100 words, or I'd like to put it in the first sentence of copy on the page.
Now.
Yeah.
My challenge.
You remember, it's like a pack my bag game, isn't it?
Yeah. And I bought a toothbrush and a comb. Okay, so really important. When people are writing, and I see this all the time, so we're building websites all the time, right? And they send us a copy, but it's very difficult to write, not for search engines, but for people.
Always right for people. First and foremost, it's got to be it's got to read nicely. You've got to tell the story. It's got to be. There's no point in bringing loads of people to your website if actually you're just going to keyword stuff it and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So always think of it. Just put yourself in your customer's shoes. What do they want to read? Make it flow nicely.
A keyword like dog-friendly hotel, no problem at all, right? That would make sense in English. But dog-friendly hotel Kings Lynn, just doesn't make sense. You would need in Kings Lynn.
That's fine.
Is that still okay?
That's okay. Yeah.
Great. Okay. So you can add those little additional words to give it context.
Yes.
Even though a Yoast or whatever may not pick it up. Fine. Perfect. So we've got it in the first sentence or first 100 words. You've got it in your title, your permalinks, wherever. Where next?
All right. So then you've got all of those semantics as you correctly identified them.
Oh, look at me. Gold badge. Lovely.
Nerd.
So these are the other ways of wording our key phrase. You also need to think about the length of copy. And I have this, not an argument, but a discussion with people all the time, especially people who want the page to look very succinct and neat. And what you basically need is a lot of copy. So pages that have around about 2,000 words will outrank pages that don't. So think of it as a competition. So if you imagine your competition has got, say, 1,000 words on their page, then you'll need 1,500 words.
Yep. So almost a gap analysis to say, we've got a meta title with a keyword, you haven't. We've got 1,000 words, you've got 500. Therefore, we're in the lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than
Absolutely,
that.
we'll get to that.
Just to keep it very simple, yes, it is.
Okay.
So if you're talking about, I don't know, dog-friendly hotel in Kings Lynn, well, you can talk about how you make the hotel dog-friendly. Maybe even talk about what other doggy events there are around Kings Lynn.
Sure.
But there are definitely ways that you can increase the copy. People will say to me, I don't know what to say.
Almost
and
like
actually,
subtopics.
Yes, yeah. And to be quite honest, chances are people actually probably won't scroll all the way down to the bottom. But at least Google has displayed your page in the first place, and you can make a priority that you put all the most important information at the top.
Yeah.
And make it look nice. Make sure you've got lots of nice headings. Include some of the key phrases within the headings, the H2s. Lots of imagery if you include videos as well, and podcast or any other.
Yeah, sure. Any other rich media, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So this, I guess, is I believe what they call on-page SEO, right?
Yes.
So you do all this stuff and you've ticked all the boxes and we're absolutely flying. And at the moment, we've ticked every single box and you've done all your image stuff and everything else. On images, how do you optimize an image?
All right. It all depends what you do. So if, for example, you've got a dog-friendly hotel in Kings Lynn, then you might, I don't know, have some imagery of the dogs outside Kings Lynn. And if that's the key phrase that you're going for, then you need to put something called alt text, an alt description on your image. I understand it's a legal requirement for those who are visually impaired, who need screen readers, but actually it's an alternative way to be found in search.
Sure.
Because I don't know about you guys, but if I'm looking for something in particular, I might just click on the images. So, and if it's a hotel, then I might want to see what the hotel looks like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that text associated with your images, then you've lost that opportunity to be found in search.
Okay.
So I'd put something like, dog-friendly hotel in Kings Lynn in the alt description with a picture of a dog outside a hotel.
Question.
Yeah.
Can alt tags have the same name? So our first image
yes,
on
they can.
Oh, love that.
Straight in.
So our page dog-friendly hotel Kings Lynn, we've got our masthead image, lovely. Got a few little images, got a little carousel or a gallery with some lovely pictures of dogs. Brilliant. They can all have the same alt tag.
They can. There are some elements that you can't have duplicated.
Okay.
So, for example, if you had dog-friendly hotel Kings Lynn as your key phrase for one page, if you then associated that with another page, you get what's called cannibalization, where you've got the two pages are going to be competing against each other.
Okay.
So you've got to make sure that you are very clear on the purpose of each page.
Let's give an example there. So dog-friendly hotel in Kings Lynn here, and pet-friendly hotels in Kings Lynn here, I guess would compete or not? How close do you have to get to cannibalise?
I think if it was hotel that's friendly for dogs, something very similar to that, then they would definitely compete. but
Fine.
possibly pet friendly,
Pet might be
depending
a big enough,
how it's been optimized throughout the rest of the page.
Got you.
Would actually be okay.
And what's the benefit of having alt tags across the same alt tag on over every image? Or is there not a benefit to it?
I think for time, you find a lot of websites have got hundreds, if not thousands, of images.
Right, okay.
So you could effectively paste the same
Just
alt
copy and
tags.
paste
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
On the flip side, is there not an opportunity to go for other terms?
Yeah, definitely.
So if you had the time, and if we're giving best practice, it would be, look, if you have the time and resource, give them individuals.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then just make sure they have something,
Yeah.
as opposed to leaving them blank.
Yeah, I
Yeah?
agree.
Fine, okay. So we've got the on page. We're looking good. It's a healthy page. However, that's only half the journey, right?
It is. So just before we leave
Oh,
on-site
come
SEO, there are over 200 different elements.
Where do people get these elements? Rather than us going through, well, I'd love to go through 200, but is
Yeah.
there like a
But there are lots of
a hub
systems
where people can say, oh, here's the 200, or do Google print the guidelines, or is it actually
Google
a
are
lot
very
of
secretive
Oh.
about their algorithms.
Oh.
But they do publish some elements. And the Google Webmaster blog will educate.
So that's probably a good place for people to start, yeah.
And then you've got people like Neil Patel is somebody that I'm quite...
Good guy.
I
Something
follow
egg.
him, yeah.
What's his...
Oh, Ubersuggest.
no, what's his company called? Something, I'm sure something egg.
No, he's Neil Patel Agency.
Neil Patel. Okay. Nice. Don't
Yeah.
know. Someone
Egg just
else
came
egg,
from,
yeah.
An
somewhere.
egg. He possibly does.
Crazy
Maybe
egg.
that's...
Maybe he used to work at Crazy. Anyway,
Yeah, possibly.
fine. Neil Patel. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, so
Someone worth-
we use a
worth
piece of
following.
software called SEMrush,
Yeah.
which in the space of about 5 minutes for a small website will tell us if there are any issues with the website. And actually, you can go to my website and have a free audit. There's
Oh, go on. Go on, little plug. Only 10 minutes
Go
in.
on,
Here we
what's
go.
the website? What's the
I said give
website?
Okay, so
45
that's-
minutes of value, but no, let's just pitch the whole day.
We're offering free audits, completely
audit.
free.
No, that's
so,
fine.
No,
you know.
it's very, very useful and very
Well,
valuable.
it is.
for
Go
people.
on,
So it's
Bex,
www.smashmarketing.co.uk for a free audit.
Perfect.
If not, and it's generated by SEMrush.
Yeah.
If not, SEMrush, I believe, will do a free trial. So if people do want to be able to do it themselves, you can try before you buy. It will audit the site and it'll look at things like how fast the site is. Because don't forget the websites are ranked mobile first now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether most of your audience will look from a desktop. It will always be ranked mobile first.
Okay.
So be page load speed, if you've got any broken links,
And
if you've got any
SEMrush
rich
will
media.
We'll pick all this up, right?
It will, yeah. SEMrush
Okay.
has just got a multitude. I don't think probably I've even used it to its full extent,
Sure.
and I'm using it all the time.
Great.
It's just amazing.
Okay.
I'm not a salesperson for SEMrush at all.
yeah. On the old commission.
Just
lovely.
say.
Fine. So you'd use a tool. You can do some more stuff on page. You
Yes.
mentioned a tool there called Ubersuggest.
Ubersuggest is great.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so Ubersuggest will help when you're looking for your semantics as well, and it will help you find and identify pages that are ranking well for the key phrases that you want to rank for. So going back to our favourite example of dog-friendly hotel Kings
They're going
Inn.
to do very well after
They
this. all
are,
the
aren't
dog-friendly
they?
hotels
Anyone
in
want to talk to
Kingston.
us? That is laughing.
So what you do, you go to Ubersuggest and type in your key phrase, and it'll give you a list of all of the websites that rank well for it.
Okay.
So you can go off and not plagiarize, but maybe be inspired.
Learn from.
Exactly,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's face it, we're not reinventing the wheel here.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And it will also tell you what people are also looking for, the alternative key phrases, which is really useful when generating content.
Is it fair to say that SEO is a game?
It is a complete game. It's if we have a very long tick list of things that we have to do, and as we work our way through, our clients move up the rankings, and it's as simple as that. It's a science. It's have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? And if you have, you will move up the rankings. It's very easy.
Well, that's really reassuring because, of course, there's a lot of people watching and listening that, unfortunately, SEO sometimes doesn't have the kind of positive connotations that it could have. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of quick money but actually let a lot of people down. So for those listening and watching to know it's not a dark art. There aren't secrets. It very much, of course, the Google algorithm is changing and they don't publish everything. But at the same time, it is all applicable, and the reason they would go with someone like yourself is because they don't have the time, and their time is better spent doing other things in their business as opposed to optimizing their site. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
One of the big problems is that, especially when people build the websites themselves to try and save a little bit of money, they don't understand that they need to put those signposts in place and think, oh, well, the website's not working, I need to go to an SEO specialist. That's not necessarily the case. There are things that they can do to make the site understood by Google. If they want to take it to the next level, it really is not a dark art. You know, we're marketers, we are human beings, and I think if anybody isn't happy to share a full report of the activity that they've done for the money, then I'd probably have alarm bells.
Yeah, absolutely right. And you unfortunately do see that, right?
All the time.
We've been working loads behind the scenes, and loads of stuff's been done. Okay, let's have a little look. So that takes us quite nicely onto kind of the other side of SEO. So the off-page SEO, which actually maybe is a little bit more not so easy to follow, and certainly an area I'm not as strong at. So I'd love to talk to you more about that. So.
Sure.
Link building, I believe, makes up a large part of that. So tell us about that. What is the process of link building? Why link build? And just tell us all.
Okay, so Google looks at, and other search engines, looks at how many links you've got coming back to your website as kind of almost like a representation of how trustworthy your site is. So we have to try and increase the number of links. Not all links are the same. You've got low valued links and higher valued links. So higher value links might be from the BBC or from Google themselves.
Sure.
Lower value links might be Bob's Butchers down the road. But those links have got their purpose. So for example, if you're doing local SEO, then Bob's Butchers down the road is a really good link to have. Yeah. Okay, so when we do link building, actually anybody can do this. So this is not just an SEO agency that has to do this for you. You always start with the lower hanging fruit. Well, we do anyway. So those will be things like directories. So some directories will give valuable links, others don't, but they still serve a purpose. It's called citation work, and it's getting your NAP files, which is your name, address, and phone number, around the internet. Because Google will still follow those links back, and if it sees an instance, Quickfire Digital, and showing your exact same name, address, phone number in 15 different places, then it seems like a reputable company.
Another tick in the box.
Exactly.
Now, challenge on that before we go on.
Okay.
What happens if you move?
You need to go back and find all those instances and change them, because
is there a tool to allow you to find every time your name, address, and phone number has been listed?
Yeah, there are. So SEMrush will do an element of that for you.
Great.
This tool is amazing.
I know.
It does everything.
The godsend.
But if somebody's just trying to do it themselves, DIY, then you might just be easier just to Google yourself. There are other citation listing companies out there, but you have to pay for them.
Got you.
And actually, the results that I've seen from them are not brilliant, because they will duplicate the content, and that duplicated content is not very well liked on the internet.
So let's say that you're going to do it yourself. You would go into a Google search and type in what?
Your name and
so for
your,
us,
your company
you just
name.
Literally type in Quickfire Digital.
Yeah, and
Don't
just keep looking through.
Speech marks or anything like that. Literally, Quickfire Digital. Hit enter, and it will show you any time that brand has been mentioned.
Yeah.
Perfect. So anyone else listening can do exactly the same. Find all their brand mentions, and then just make sure that the mention of that brand is consistent in terms of, what was it, name, address,
phone number, NAP files. Yes.
Got you. Okay, great. So we've done that. Fine. We've got all our citations up.
Yep.
And I guess the more the merrier. And if you've got 20 and I've got 18 and you've got 25, then Stokely over there would win. So
well done.
Woohoo!
Yeah. What's next?
Okay. Next would be so we look at your suppliers. So if you imagine, just name me not the name, but a type of supplier that you would have.
The printer.
Okay.
Okay.
So perhaps
Another
you work
one.
with a local printing company that supplied your printers for you. So imagine you wrote a wonderful testimonial for them.
Yeah.
So we've been using XYZ printing company for 5
years.
years.
Yeah.
Always given us great service. Wouldn't hesitate to recommend them. That's a testimonial they're going to want to put on their website with a link back to your website. Hey, you got a link. So as easy as that.
Backlink.
A backlink, yes.
Whoa, here we go.
I know my stuff, mate.
Now, those links, there's obviously lots of different places you could put those testimonials on your own site. Oh, well, that one wouldn't be on your own site, but on the client site. But of course, in things like, I'm thinking of local listings and stuff like that. Was it the knowledge graph? The little bit down the right hand side.
Now Google, you can't submit. You can't say, well, I want to have one of those. Google will decide when you get one of those.
Really?
And it's all about just getting as much information about you, like a Wikipedia page and people following you, and you just have to do your stuff and be well known enough that Google says, yeah, we'll have a knowledge graph.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from a personal point of view, like, can you have a Nathan, like you look at anyone out there and actually
you can, but it's the instances again. You just need to make sure that you're everywhere.
So it's about quantity in this case. Then.
It is, and quality. Yeah. So if I was just to put a paragraph about me, I'm probably not going to be found, and I probably wouldn't be displayed.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so you've got your citations in place. You've got some a couple of links. So with that perfect example of a testimonial and a backlink. Okay. What happens on links, and I kind of know the answer, but I'm interested for the audience to hear this. If we then link back, so we go to the pub, pint, pork scratchings, okay, I say, Beks, tell you what, I will link to you and you link to me. Now, maybe one day that would work, right? But apparently that's not such a great way to do it now.
They kind of cancel each other out. So ideally you want to have more links coming into your website than you have going out. But at the same time, if you didn't have any links going out, that's a ranking factor as well, because Google likes you to share the love. So if you, on your website, if you talk about, I don't know, if we're going back to the King's Lynn
imagine if we were talking about King's Lynn,
then I don't know why I keep talking about King's Lynn, but there we go. Then you might have links to the King's Lynn Visitor Centre or the What's On in Kings Lynn or the Doggy Centre.
I was going to say maybe the vets or something.
What did you just say? The what centre?
Not what you
heard. Oh, right, okay, fine. Yeah. This is a PC podcast, Beks.
Oh no, it was going so well. It's turned to filth. Right, back on track. So we've talked about our SEO. We've talked about on page, off page. You've got your links. It's all going well. You got on page. You got off page. You got some outbound links. You got some inbound links. What's next?
All right. Well, there are lots more links that we can build.
Oh, good. Okay.
All the
Let's stay with links.
There are lots of ways of getting content. So you find a lot of people with websites, they just haven't got time to write blogs themselves.
Right. Yeah.
So I would find a reciprocal company that perhaps, for yourselves, it's, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe a mum's starting new businesses website. And they're talking about how they can build their own websites, and perhaps you do a little guest post about how they can do their own websites.
Sure.
And then, if you want to read more about Nathan, then you click here too.
Almost like a local SEO agency, right? So you could write a post for them and about websites and.
Like you're thinking there.
Oh, yes.
Deal done.
Yeah. Fine. Okay. Great. And then, but at the same time, if the SEO agency was to write one about the other way round, then it would count as 0, right?
Yeah, I've heard that the links do cancel each other out.
So I got it in first. Fine.
Oh, okay.
No. We'll discuss it. Fine. Okay, so great. What other links can we do? Are there other links?
Yeah, there's one called the skyscraper technique. Well, now, what you need to do is look around on the internet and find maybe some out-of-date content that still ranks quite well. So it might be, I don't know, the best 7 tips for places to take your dog at King's Lynn.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. The best 7 pieces of software to build your brand new website on.
Sure, yeah.
And then we find that actually that was written in 2015. It's out of date. So what we can do is we can see everybody who links to that old content. We write a new one. We place it on Quickfire's website. Yeah. We then contact all of the people who link to the old out-of-date content. And we say, look, you're linking to out-of-date content. We've written one. It's got 20 good reasons why you should use these pieces of software or 20 platforms, and with our recommendation, and ours is actually a lot longer and
better and everything else. So that would be a very manual process.
Very manual.
You find 5,000 websites that link to this article, and you have to physically contact each one.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Well, if it's
I mean, that's
if it's
perfect reason to use an SEO agency,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
no chance I'm writing to 5,000 people.
no. So
Wow.
if you don't have the
Time.
budget to contact an SEO agency, then it is unfortunately it's donkey work.
And that's the one
Yeah.
thing I would stress is that while thinking that you doing it yourself is saving budget, your time still has a value.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
so
absolutely.
actually, but we're a one-man band and we can just do 5,000 things ourselves. Yes, but that means you can't be doing whatever you were doing or something that's maybe a better return on your investment. It's better to say, yeah, I'll bite the bullet and use someone like Beks and you can go and do all that legwork.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of SEO agencies will offer kind of like a one-off. They'll get your website, ranking well, and then maybe give you a bit of training. So
And there's
there are
definitely
lots
no
of
tools
ways.
that can do this. It's not going to
Is
build
it
one.
is it SEMrush? Is that what it's
No,
called?
SEMrush is
Must be able to do
it's
it.
the
Come on,
industry
SEMrush, pull your
standard.
finger
Yeah,
out.
come on, it's a basic feature.
No, what SEMrush will do is it can generate some prospects. Oh, he's holding that up. We've got 5 minutes left.
Well, it commonly says 15, but yeah.
Oh, is it
don't
15?
worry.
Oh, it's a scrolling one.
And actually, the whole point is that people watching aren't meant to know.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter.
I won't
they,
do
they
it
know
again.
now. Okay. Right. So, anyway, we've got 15 minutes, Beks, which is perfect
Okay.
for you to tell us of the tool that may be able to be used to shortcut that process. Is there
Okay.
anything?
There are free tools. There are a lot of free tools that actually you should be using on a day-to-day basis.
Great. Share away. What are we talking?
All right. So the most important tool you should be using is Google Analytics.
Yeah.
Find your way around that. It's completely free. It's owned by Google. Its sister platform is Google Search Console.
Yeah.
So the two together are probably on your really must-have list. The things that you can learn from analytics are, depending on how much detail you want to go to, but the bare minimum should be how many people are going to your website each month? Where are they
Yeah.
coming from? What are they typing in to find you? What part of the world are they
It's
from?
quality of traffic, right? You can have
Yeah.
50,000 visitors to your website,
Yeah.
but if they're from another part of the world, you're
Yeah.
selling sand castles in Chroma, then it's
Yeah.
absolutely pointless.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also within Google Analytics, you can see actually what they're doing when they get on your website. You can see what pages they're moving to and what pages they're dropping out from, so what pages they're leaving the website from.
So why don't people use it at all? Because actually,
I think they get bamboozled. They
There
see
we go.
how much
Quite
it can do.
overwhelming.
It's completely
much
overwhelming.
data.
There
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like they should probably just do a smaller version that's
Yeah, like a
simplified.
Google Analytics
for,
Lite.
yeah, exactly.
Imagine
That'd be
that.
great. Yeah, shall we put it to them?
Shall we?
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So that's really cool. So you're using analytics, you're using webmaster tools, you've got your SEO fundamentals in place. I mean, I'm sure people have got pages and pages of notes, which
Yeah.
is exactly what this thing is for.
Hope so.
What else can we? Let's take it up one notch.
Okay.
So you've done your beginner SEO. We're now going into intermediate. Now what?
Intermediate. All right. You need to be on-page SEO. You need to be looking at how you can speed up the website. Look at how hungry your images are. Make sure the resolution is right. So that's a big mistake from DIY websites, that people will just get the images and plonk them
Plop them
straight
in,
onto
right?
the website.
Not into
Yeah.
Photoshop or anything like
Yeah.
that. Just put them in. There are image compression tools.
There
I don't know
are.
if you got have you come across
Well,
any?
we use Photoshop.
Great.
just-
So you would use Photoshop, put them
yeah.
in. People that haven't got the benefit of using Photoshop, maybe a WP Smash It, or
Yeah.
I mean, we come across these tools all the time, right? Where they
Yeah,
can do a
loads
bit of the
online.
work.
Yeah.
Fine. So you compress your images. Great. What else?
Intermediate. So.
Or advanced.
Or advanced. Okay. So what else they look at? So I don't want to go into too much bamboozlement, but there are things like minimizing your code, but I think that's a bit.
Yeah,
that's
there
probably
we
a bit
go.
too
Here we
advanced.
go.
I'm just
okay.
going to leave
Um,
now.
Fine. So minifying scripts and stuff like that
Yeah.
is all good stuff. And actually, when you look at page speed, I guess, is it Google Lighthouse or Google Page Speed tools where you can see actually it kind of tells you what to do, right?
It does.
It's like
Yeah.
your website is X out of 100. This is what you can do to improve it. Just like SEMrush gives you the answers. And that's one thing, if you take away anything from today, is that actually the answers are all out there. Yeah, the answers are all out there. And you'd use someone like yourself to shortcut that process and have a lot of the implementation done for you. But actually, if you want to, go to Google PageSpeed Tools, go to SEMrush, or go to Smash Marketing and get your free SEMrush, little plug there. Get your free thing, and away you go. So actually the answers are there. So you compress the site, you get it nice and fast, you make sure the structure's right, you get all the SEO set up, you do all that stuff. Now, I have a controversial topic to discuss.
Oh dear.
Go on.
Oh dear.
Here we
Okay.
go.
Go on.
SEO, monthly ongoing process, one-off process.
Monthly ongoing.
Boom.
It's a slow
Talk to
build.
me. Talk to
so
me.
true.
Oh my goodness.
Why,
So-
if you've done the SEO, and I'm not for one moment saying it's not, and I'm just challenging for the benefit of our audience. Look at me sitting on a fence. So why, if you've got all the fundamentals in place, and you've Kings Lynn Hotel, you're all optimised, you've done all the hard work, you've got all the links, brilliant, spent hours and hours getting that right. What else are we going to do?
Okay, if you launch a website or you bring a website up to here
Yeah.
and then you do nothing to it, it's like, my mum likes it, my gran likes it, my mates like it, it's great. Why would I change it? It's going to do this. Because Google is going to see it as a neglected site. Your pages are getting neglected while all your competitors are doing stuff to the website.
Everyone's going up and you're coming
Exactly.
down. Yeah.
You need to, the pages that you want to be found for in search, the pages that should rank, you need to keep changing
Keep
them.
on top of the
yeah,
game,
keep adding
There'll
new
be
paragraphs.
There'll be new keywords. There'll be new
I
topical issues, perhaps, that could revolve
possibly,
around your service.
I mean, so
That's the question, right? What are you changing? Because you're not probably
Make
changing
sure-
the structure in terms of focus, keyword, meta description, meta title. I guess that bit doesn't change.
add paragraphs in. Maybe if you get new videos, if you get new testimonials,
Got
just
you, okay.
keep
So the
changing it, keep
content is
moving it.
changing,
changing the content.
but the structure and everything is staying the
Well,
same.
the structure can change slightly. So perhaps we always recommend contextual linking, which is linking.
Oh, here we go. This is
words.
advanced. Go on.
So words within maybe a blog page to some service pages or vice versa.
Got you, kind of internal linking.
Yeah,
between the site.
internal linking between your pages, because that's actually one of the main ways that Google will index your site. Is it will land on a link to your site and it'll follow all the links from around your website
Okay.
to understand all of the pages. So when you have what's called orphaned pages,
Yeah.
so that might be pages that perhaps you've created for a certain campaign or they don't have any links internally, Google will find it difficult to index those pages because it can't get to them. There are no links to
and
it.
so where does something like a sitemap or a robots.txt file, I get we're talking
Yeah, it's a
slightly
little bit
high
more
level now,
intermediate,
but
yeah.
where or why?
Okay, so if you use Yoast SEO, then your sitemap will be generated automatically. So that's for people who have got a WordPress website.
Yeah.
Yoast SEO is completely free. There is a premium version, which is a lot
Sure.
better, but
Hopefully they'll sponsor this podcast
Yeah.
and off we go. And great. If you're listening, Yoast, I'm absolutely calling you. Yeah.
so having your sitemap listed within your robots.txt is something that I believe that Yoast does automatically, but you find a lot of websites that are HTML coded, the web developers sometimes forget to add those in.
Sure.
The audit that I am offering free will show if your sitemap is listed in
And
your
where can they find that
Yeah. Would that happen to be on smashmarketing.co.uk?
It is
Funny you
funny.
say that. Okay, great. So basically what we're saying is that there in the last 45 minutes are essentially a lot of answers. Okay, there's all of it, all the answers that you need are there. It's
I
now
think so.
a
I've
case.
probably missed a few.
It's
There are a
fine,
lot
it's
of
right, and
elements.
SEO is sexy. I'm gonna put it out there.
Thanks.
It's a sexy thing. It's what it is what
I don't
we
know
need.
where that's come from.
No, it is. It's not just data. It's an art. It's a science, and it's cool. I think it's cool.
It is, and
It's amazing.
There's
the
another
stuff
element you
do.
need to think about. That so, for example, if you've written content for your website, you can then use that for other elements of your marketing. So if you've written a blog about your dog-friendly hotel in Kings Lynn,
Yeah.
hit my head,
Literally going to tag
you
every
need
Kings
to
Lynn
well, you
hotel.
need to put that on social media.
Yeah.
You can put it in your email newsletter. So you need to.
I'm going to challenge you.
Oh, go on.
No, you'd spot on. But actually, what about the whole mantra of right message, right medium? Do you want a blog on Twitter? Do you want a blog on Instagram? Like, some of that stuff will be totally relevant, right? Like, for sure, a little snippet. linking to
Snippet.
the
Oh,
blog,
only
maybe.
snippet. No, not
Maybe.
full
I don't
thing.
want 500 words
Hell
on my
no.
Instagram page.
No,
like,
no, no.
Christ.
Sorry, a snippet.
Fine.
So the whole idea is to get them to your website. So it
Yeah,
would
a
be a
little teaser
snippet,
maybe
a
or something.
teaser.
There we go.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yeah, we need to drive traffic to the website where they can stay on and then investigate the rest of the website so they're not immediately bouncing away, because bounce rate is another ranking factor.
Right.
And
What's
dwell time.
what's a healthy bounce rate?
Anything under 50%.
Good.
Okay.
Anything over 50%, you need to be looking at the content
Reasons why.
on the page.
Yeah.
And actually, is the user experience good? Are they finding everything that they're looking for?
Yeah.
And then, how many pages looked at is another ranking factor. I saw that
Okay.
was a little yawn then.
That wasn't a yawn. That was like a
Just
deep,
explain-
deep sigh as I go, Christ, I got some work to do.
Just explain to the beginners who are listening what is bounce rate.
A bounce is when somebody lands on a page within your website and they immediately come away. They don't then browse any other pages.
Okay. I'm sure there'll be people out there who want to know that answer.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's a good question. So there's we've got about 5 more minutes.
Okay.
I'm led to believe. Trying to give another spoiler alert, Bex. So what I want to do is try and summarize, because we've gone over a lot of stuff, right? And that time has flown by, and I dare say in another 45 minutes we could probably cover another 45 minutes worth of stuff. If anyone's going to take away 3 core things from today, what's it going to be?
Use your Google Analytics.
Yep.
Because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're trying to get to.
This is it.
Then
Set your
you don't know
benchmarks
when
and set your
you've got
goals,
that.
right?
You've got to.
Yeah.
And
on-
measure.
On analytics, I guess you've got not only to see the traffic and what's happening, but setting your goals and tracking to say, okay, is the money I'm spending effective? So that's a really good one. So analytics, 1. Now what?
Prioritize your keywords. Make sure that they are relevant with the page, and really invest time in getting the content on the page right.
Yeah.
So that's probably about 3 things all in one.
Okay. 3rd one.
Keep going. It's a slow process. SEO is a slow build. We
That's a really
sometimes
good
see that actually changes we've made 2 or 3 months previously will only then actually come to fruition and move the keywords up the rankings.
So how do you know as a business, and I don't know, you're just starting out, or maybe you're a bit further on your journey, sometimes businesses don't have time. Yeah, sometimes businesses won't be patient because they're trying to generate sales. And actually, if we need sales, an SEO campaign, fantastic, but we might not reap those rewards for 6, 9, 12 months. So is there anything we can do short term?
Yeah, so you can have yourself displayed within Google search results through Google Ads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that might be a whole other conversation.
Yeah, it would take me too long.
Fine. We'll have a whole other conversation around Google Ads. But okay, so there are quicker wins.
Yes.
But at the same time, important that if you choose Google Ads as a win, you should still set the foundations right.
Yes.
And the foundations should be done through
It looks at
SEO.
the whole journey. So you'll still have to optimize your pages anyway, because if you take the visitor to a page that's not optimized and you've got low quality scores on your keywords, I haven't got long enough to explain what that means,
fine.
then
Google
you'll end
it.
up paying more for your ads to be displayed, and you'll be displayed lower than your competitors. So they'll actually be displayed above you and paying less than you,
Fine.
if you're displayed at all.
Now, of all the podcasts we've had, that has been unbelievable. Ridiculous amounts of value. I know we were a little
So
bit
much
unsure at the start,
information.
So fantastic. Thank you so much, Bex.
Thank
It's
you.
always a privilege. And like I say, just the journey you've been on at Smash has been remarkable. And if no one pats yourself on the back, then I will say very
thank
well.
you.
Lastly, where can people find you? Although they might already know.
Well, I
Okay.
guess Smash Marketing for the 55th time.
All right, so
Go
that's
on.
www.smashmarketing.co.uk.
Okay,
Thank you
amazing.
very much.
And I guess they can connect you on LinkedIn or
LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Insta.
She's everywhere.
I'm a bit of a serial networker, so you can find me at most events.
There we go. So yeah, I do employ you all actually. Bex, well, as you've seen, is an oracle of knowledge. So go and pick up brains, have a coffee, reach out to her on socials, have a chat. And Bex, thanks again for coming to see us. We really
Thank you
appreciate
for inviting me. It's been
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you.